Welcome to the first Misconnect podcast. I'm your host, Harlow. Now, this isn't the official podcast debut of Misconnect, but more of an introduction. I just want to take a moment to share the purpose of this podcast in this format and to hopefully get you to tune in as a regular listener. So the purpose of Misconnect is to engage women from all backgrounds by creating intimate conversations about controversial subject matters. And I also think that's my mission statement. But anyway, like most podcasts, I intend for it to be unapologetic, unorthodox, and definitely uncensored. Which brings me to a little disclosure. I do anticipate that there will be intense levels of disagreements, maybe some tears, definitely some cursing. However, my goal is that all participants walk away better educated and more compassionate towards opposing perspectives. I was also a little inspired to create the Misconnect podcast by my own desire to engage in controversial conversations outside the comfort of my own familiar surroundings. I also got inspiration from the Red Table Talks. Now, if you haven't heard of the Red Table Talks, it's a great Facebook watch talk show. It's hosted by Jada Pinkett Smith, her daughter Willow, and her mother Adrienne. They cover a variety of thought-provoking subject matters. However, I think professionally, they have to proceed with a certain amount of caution and therefore maybe a little more censored. Well, I'm not a celebrity, so I feel inclined to pick up those conversations where they left off. I repeat, the Misconnect podcast is unorthodox, uncensored, and unapologetic. So we're just going to dive right into some of the subject matters we're going to be discussing. Now, as a rule of thumb, most of us have been taught professionally that there are 3 topics you don't discuss in front of mixed company or in the office, and that would be sex, religion, and politics. I'm also going to toss in a couple of my own personal triggers, which is Michael Jackson allegations, the OJ verdict, and Kanye West. But we're not in the office now, are we? So let's run down a few of the upcoming topics for our official debut in January. Now, we will be discussing sister Christians. This particular discussion will be diving into the origins of Christianity and its introduction to the African American. Now, particularly, I want to address African American women on this podcast. We're going to be clearing up some myths, some misunderstandings, and telling some truths. We're also going to be discussing personal relationships between white women and women of color. We're also going to talk about body shaming. I've got a great guest lined up for that. We're going to talk about sexuality. And the one subject I'm particularly anxious to address is WWPT. Now, if you want to know what that is, you're going to have to follow us on social media. So get a pen and paper handy so you can write down our social media contact. We are on Instagram at miss.connect.pc. We're on Facebook at misconnect.pc. And you can follow us on Twitter at miss_connect_PC. Now, if you'd like to participate in any of the discussions on the Misconnect podcast, you can do so by contacting us on any of our social media formats. I would recommend just commenting under the subject or topic post that you're interested in participating in. So, for example, if you go to our Instagram, you'll see that most of the posts are going to be talking about our upcoming subject. So you see something that you think you may want to jump into, just go ahead and leave a comment for me or, say, hey, if you want to be a little more discreet, you can also DM me. Not a problem. We'll go ahead and get something lined up. Now, before I get out of here today, I also want to send a shout out to Susie, creator of Saved and Sexy Radio, who I will be reuniting with as one of my reoccurring co-hosts. Now, if you guys are familiar with Saved and Sexy and you're checking them out, you may remember that I was a former producer and also a reoccurring co-host on some of the shows. And so this is going to be a reunion of sorts that I'm definitely excited about. So again, we are planning our official debut in January 2019. So until then, this is your girl Harlow signing off for the Misconnect podcast. And I promise to have a better closing line when we debut in January. Peace and blessings.